Hello everyone, Mark here, Marx Max Muscle, and I thought this was going to make a very interesting comparison. James Hollingshead and Branch Warren. A lot of people have been making comparisons between these two. So a lot of similarities. I think maybe it's just the chromius domius, the bald heads. But anyway, guys, all seriousness, this is the 2020 Europa Spain champion, James Hollingshead, and I definitely think that was a just win. I decided to use the 2006 San Francisco Pro version of Branch Warren, and the reason why, it's just a similar looking version, and I think James Hollingshead, he's not fully developed yet, and Branch Warren, if I were to use the 2009, probably wouldn't have been that fair. But anyway, guys, Branch Warren looks like he's all guns blazing here. These guys are similar, I guess you could say. A longer torso for James Hollingshead. Thicker legs for Branch Warren. My soul, does he have a thick set of legs. So similarities, some. Biceps, somewhat similar. But anyway, guys, we're not really judging this one. Just gonna, like I said, see which similarities these guys do have. Front lat spread. This is a strong pose, I think, for Branch Warren. And maybe not a weak pose, I wouldn't say, for James Hollingshead, but I think he has stronger poses than this one. So in this pose here, they're not really striking it the same way. Branch Warren, he's holding his elbows up quite high. They're actually higher than James Hollingshead. James, taller, first and foremost. I should have mentioned that. James, a few inches taller. He's pretty near 6 feet tall. Both guys, good big legs. Of course, nobody has bigger, thicker legs than Branch Warren. I am always astonished at the size of Branch Warren's calves. Even from the front, it's just remarkable. So, Branch a little bit better, I think, in the front. Go to the side, and very similar. Look at those quads. Of course, Branch a little bit bigger, and in the calves as well, but James Hollingshead, not a bad set of quads. Very similar structurally. Chest, about the same. Of course, Branch, he's in a smaller frame with maybe just as much muscle, so it looks like it is a little bit more muscle, I think, when you look at the delts, the arms, things of that nature. So if I was judging this one, Branch would be getting an edge so far. Of course, at a pose like this one here, again, the quads, it's similar cuts in them, but this pose here, upper body wise, that longer torso comes into play for James Hollingshead. Wow, does he hit a fantastic side tricep, and he's actually defeating Branch Warren. And take into consideration, guys, Branch Warren very conditioned, but as is James Hollingshead. Both of these guys known, I guess, for rock hard conditioning. Is James as good as Branch Warren? I don't know. Branch still has those extra thick quads. Let's take a look at the back development, and this is a telling tale. Branch has the groceries, I think, but he's just not snapping the pose. He's got his head bent down. And wow, look at the calf. Look at the big, thick, sturdy calves. They make James Hollingshead's look, well, a little iffy. And if you'll remember, if you were watching the Europa Pro, or the Europa Spain, rather, James Hollingshead has awesome calves. And Branch Warren, he's a dinosaur in that area. Maybe too big. Nothing wrong with James Hollingshead's calves. Glutes, James, he was probably the driest member of the athletes in the Europa Spain. So his win was just, I think, guys. But anyway, enough about that. Rear double bicep. And again, I do think that James Hollingshead, he is striking the pose a little bit different. So the similarities may be there, but it's hard to see because they're striking the poses so much different. James actually better in the arm department, I think, and in the traps. Probably overall a better back development, but Branch battles back with those dinosaur legs, my soul. And the lighting is different, and there's probably filters through those pictures of James Hollingshead, making him look a little bit more striated in the glutes, but don't kid yourself. Branch Warren, he was always in condition in that area. So definitely a close one. And similar conditioning, similar glutes, things of that nature for these two. Ab and thigh. And this one, Now, I thought these guys would have been more similar in this one, but I guess they are. Big, thick legs, and not a bad V-taper, and their abs translate very well in a pose like this, both of them. Nice big chests. I find the ab and thigh, you need a big, thick chest. It kind of helps with the V-taper. Branch, like I said, this whole matchup, smaller structurally, smaller bone structure, and maybe with just as much, maybe even a little bit more, a hint more muscle. You can see even in the arms in this shot, and then the legs, of course. Let's wrap this little comparison up, and this was a neat one. I thought this was a fairly interesting comparison. These guys hit their poses somewhat the same way. This one here, in particular, their physiques translate pretty much the same. And like I said, Branch Warren probably would have won the match. Bigger muscles, smaller frame, more conditioned. Well, I wouldn't say he's more conditioned. He has a more conditioned look from the front. When you look at the quads, more feathering. But that amazing lighting that they did, isn't that funny now? This was awesome lighting, I thought, for the Europa Spain. Nobody's going to mention it. Everybody attacks them when they do bad lighting, but they get no credit for doing something good. I guess that's just how it works. But anyway, guys, a fantastic job for James Hollingshead. He might get some criticism, but I think anybody winning any bodybuilding show nowadays is going to receive some criticism. He won the show justly. Look at the close-up pictures. There's just no way that the conditioning was there for Regan Grimes at all. And it was a little bit better for Rafe Brandao, but not as good as James Hollingshead. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this comparison. Wasn't really a matchup, just to compare the two, see the similarities. Hit thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram. Have a great day.